What's up, two viewers? My name is Pax, and I'm speaking facts. And today, I'm here to talk to you guys about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm back like scoliosis and halitosis, and today, I'm going to react to the WBC stripping Terrence Crawford of his belts. It's a highly controversial subject. I'm going to go over here to Knockout Updates, where they have one of the juggernauts in the industry, Joe Rogan, commenting on the subject. It gets really tricky because of the politics involved and all of the behind-the-scenes monies that's changing hands and all of the sanctions. The WBC, up until now, has been highly regarded as one of the top sanctioning bodies for the sport. Obviously, Terrence Crawford, it goes without saying, is a class act. He's a pugilist specialist, both in the ring and outside of the ring. He is a leader, highly regarded, best of the best of the best, champion. And because he decided not to pay some money, sanctioning the belts that he won, that he sat out and trained his whole life for, that he sacrificed for, took time away from his kids and his family for, he no longer can have those belts as a result of some money. So we're going to go over here to Knockout Updates channel. We're going to check in with what they have to say, starting with Joe Rogan, and see what's going on. You guys go check out Knockout Updates, check out their content. Shout out to them for the content. We're going to react to it.
It was entirely in you.
Definitely.
In you and your name. That's what people don't give a fuck about those three letters.
At all.
At all. They just know Terrence Crawford's the best. And who he's fighting, who cares? Like, whatever it is, that's the big fight. It doesn't, WBO, WBC, no, IBF, nobody gives a fuck.
They don't.
I always say I never understand why we become champion have to pay for a belt. Keep that shit. Keep it.
As long as they paid for the sanctioning bodies. But Crawford left out one, and that was the WBC. So, by default, on paper, he's not undisputed.
Joe Rogan just threw gasoline on the fire. In one of the boldest takes we've heard in months, Rogan went off on the WBC after they officially stripped Terrence "Bud" Crawford of his super middleweight world title and revoked his boxing license. And honestly, who can blame him? What we're watching isn't just a title being taken away. It's a power struggle between a fighter who made history and an organization that thinks it owns that history.
I had no idea that could even happen. I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of the sport. I've been watching boxing for many, many years. But, I don't really take a deep dive into what goes on behind the scenes and all that. I keep up with my favorite fighter and root for him and, whatever's going on at the time. But I had no idea that you could be stripped of your titles because you don't pay one of the sanctioning bodies that represents a belt that you're going to wear that you won fair and square. Like, that's crazy. I didn't even know that was possible.
The belts don't mean nothing. We paying for the belts.
How much do you have to pay?
We got to pay, like, what, 3%?
3%?
2%, 3%. Like,
that's crazy.
Definitely.
That's
so
like, crazy.
It's like I'm paying you to make me a belt.
Rogan didn't hold back. He said what millions of fans have been whispering for years, that boxing has turned into a pay-to-play business where the best fighters still have to pay tribute just to be called champions.
What the fuck?
That's crazy. So they're taxing these guys, man. Like, it's basically they're coming up and saying that, yeah, we know you're the champion, so you're going to have to wear this belt as the champion. We own the belt. We own the rights to the belt. We own the name that's on the belt. And so we want 5% of the purse is.
And Crawford, he finally had the guts to stand up and say, no more. Now the story has exploded beyond boxing. From Keyshawn Davis defending Crawford like a brother, to Teofimo Lopez firing back, and even the legendary Jimmy Lennon Jr. quietly admitting the sport's ugly truth. Everyone's talking, but out of all the voices, Joe Rogan hit the hardest. Not because he's a boxing insider, but because he said what the world's been thinking. So let's break down exactly what went down.
And do you have to pay 3% to each individual section?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them is different. Some of them is 3, some of them 2. You know, so it's like, I'm paying for you to come out here and watch me fight to give me a belt that, you know what I mean, I'm already paying for.
Why Rogan's rant blew up online and what this entire mess means for the future of boxing.
Shout out to Joe Rogan, man. Shout out to Joe Rogan and everything he's got going on, man. You know, I'm a personal fan of Joe Rogan. I think he's an awesome human being, great American, and I'm a fan of what he's got going on. You know, I know he's been controversial as well in the past, but I'm a fan. Moving on, shout out to him for supporting Terrence Crawford, for using his platform and his voice to speak up on what he feels, and I also feel is completely absurd at this point. Like, you know, when you have a champion, when you have an athlete that goes out and performs at the highest level, you know, trains, you know, sacrifices everything to you know, for the sport that he or she loves, and is charged a tax essentially just to be the champion, just to be recognized officially on paper as the champion, is crazy. The fact that you could go out and perform an absolute clinic like the one that we all witnessed against his last fight. I can't remember his name because I always want to call him Canelo, Cinnamon, because Canelo means cinnamon in Spanish, so I apologize for getting tongue-tied, but yeah, we all saw an absolute clinic on Canelo Alvarez, Cinnamon. And you know, all 5 belts. And you saw Teo and Fumo or whatever his name is, Fumo, Teo, whatever. I apologize. With all due respect, basically celebrating the technicality. He's no longer undisputed. Yes, he is.
It started quietly, but it didn't stay that way for long. On December 3rd, the WBC officially stripped Terrence Crawford of his super middleweight title, claiming he'd failed to pay his sanctioning fees for his last 2 fights, his spectacular win over Canelo Alvarez, and his earlier bout with Israil Madrimov. Now that's already controversial, but here's the twist. Crawford reportedly earned $50 million for that Canelo fight.
And he earned it, and he deserves it. He should have won. He should have got more, in my opinion.
A figure that shocked the industry.
5% of his fees to go there. So Crawford made in the ballpark of $50 million. The WBC assessed $300,000 sanction fee, with $225,000 going to the fund and $75,000 going to the WBC.
Despite making the WBC look golden with a historic fight, Crawford was accused of refusing to pay what they called his dues. And just like that, the sanctioning body acted. Title stripped, license revoked.
I always say I never understand why we become champion have to pay for a belt. Keep that Keep it. I'm not gonna work 14, 15 years for me to pay for something I worked for. When I went to the Olympics, did I pay for that damn medal?
Enter.
Man, the more I hear this, it really charges me. I can't even believe the audacity that this sanctioning body has had. This is crazy historically. Like this has been going on.
Keyshawn Davis, one of boxing's fastest rising stars, and someone who clearly wasn't afraid to speak his mind. In a fiery interview, Davis said what many fighters have felt but never dared to admit publicly. I never understood why we have to pay for a belt. Keep that shit. I worked my whole life for this. Why am I paying for something I already earned?
Good for him, man. You're talking about getting up 3 o'clock in the morning. You're talking about running. It's 20-something degrees. You outside. right now. You were talking about that don't matter. Go outside and run. You're talking about that, and then you're talking about boxing, the same moves over and over and for hours and hours, and jumping rope and hitting bags and jamming your knuckles and your hands and your wrists and working out, and it's just keep going and going and going and going and going for years and years. You're talking about a commitment, dedication. You're talking about discipline on a level that is unparalleled, and all for nothing, all for that to mean nothing if you don't pay 5% of your purse to this sanctioning body is unreal.
When I went to the Olympics, did I pay for that medal? No. So keep the belt. You're not taking my money.
No. If I walk into this arena without this belt, is these people still gonna show up? Yes. So keep the belt. You're not gonna take my money.
That quote spread across every boxing page within hours. Davis doubled down, saying he told the WBO the same thing, that paying for belts is outdated, unfair, and flat out insulting.
They said that's out. Are they still gonna show up? Are the fans gonna show up? Are the people still gonna show up if I come in here without this belt? Yes.
To him, the belts are symbols, not salaries, and no fighter should have to buy recognition for what they already fought and bled for.
I agree with Terrence, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't agree with paying for belts. That's why for all the sanctioning bodies, you know what I'm saying? And I told this to the one that I was under, the WBO. I told him to, I said, I don't really believe in that. And he explained why. And I was like, okay, but I still don't agree with it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm always gonna be like for not paying for belts. Because what the fuck are we paying it for?
Fans loved it. It wasn't just support for Crawford. It was a message from a new generation tired of the old rules. And right when the noise reached its loudest point, Joe Rogan entered the conversation. Now, imagine Joe Rogan on his podcast mic, leaning forward, voice low but intense. That familiar mix of disbelief and righteous anger.
Shout out to Joe Rogan again, man. You know, I got the same mic as Joe Rogan. I got the same mic stand as Joe Rogan. Y'all probably can't see it, but it's here. See the stand? You know, shout out to Joe Rogan, man. I can't say enough, man. Great American, man. Shout out to him.
He laid it out straight. Why are fighters paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a belt they already earned? It's like taxing someone for winning. The fans don't care about logos. They care about the fight. The WBC looks greedy, not great.
Joe Rogan is a fight aficionado. You know, if you're not sure what that means, go look it up. But this man lives, breathes, eats, sweats, talks. He just exuberates fighting. And like they said, you know, he put that voice on. He gets intense. He looks into the camera. He'll grit his teeth on you. He's serious. He's not playing. So, you know, it's one thing for people to get upset, for me to get upset. Nobody cares if I get upset. You know, I got 13 people that watch me. But Joe Rogan, man. And I see you, Joe Rogan. Man, you know, I like everything you do, down to the microphone, man. Shout out to Joe Rogan.
That take lit up social media like wildfire.
He was entirely in you.
Definitely.
In you and your name. That's what people don't give a fuck about those three letters.
At all.
At all.
At all.
They just know Terrence Crawford's the best.
The best.
And who he's fighting, who cares? Like, whatever it is, that's the big fight. It doesn't WBO, WBC, IBF. Nobody gives a fuck.
They don't.
Rogan's words carried weight because he wasn't part of the system. He wasn't defending the business side of boxing. He was defending the spirit of competition. He said what promoters wouldn't, what networks couldn't, and what fighters feared to. That boxing's sanctioning system has become an outdated machine, feeding on the very athletes that make it thrive.
The fact that he's gamed the system.
Yeah.
You know, because the system is you get to a certain point in time, you're a champion, make as much money as you possibly can, you retire, and then there's no more money. Now with what's going on in like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, like you can get paid insane amounts of money. Like people just want to see you perform.
Yeah, so like over there in the United Emirates and Dubai, all that, you know, they're paying these guys they got that oil money. Come on now. They got that cash money, liquid. You see what they doing? They doing it to golf. They doing it. He's going to these champions and saying, "Hey, listen, what you guys need to play in this championship? What do you need to fight this fighter? How much? Here it is. Sign right here, and y'all come over here. Let's fight." Man, that Prince over there, man, he's not playing. He's single-handedly disrupting everything because he's giving the fans what we want to see.
Rogan compared it to a restaurant charging a chef to serve his own food. And he wasn't wrong. Fans flooded Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube comments agreeing with him that Crawford didn't disrespect boxing. He just finally called its bluff. But, as always, not everyone saw it that way.
I don't know about y'all, but I really don't know if I've seen, again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I haven't seen Terrence Crawford get too disrespectful, if at all, with anyone. Man, it's a class act, both in the ring, outside the ring. From what I hear, you know, he's a great family man, an awesome father. You know, disrespecting boxing.
Then came Teofimo Lopez, who had a very different take.
Canelo and Crawford was indeed for the undisputed. However, it was indeed, now hear me out, Punch, this was indeed accurate as long as they paid for the sanctioning bodies.
Man.
But Crawford left out one, and that was the WBC. So, by default, on paper, he's not undisputed.
For him, it was simple. Rules are rules.
Rules are rules, but you saw what happened, Teo and Fumo Lopez. Teo, you know, I don't want no smoke because, you know, I don't want no smoke. I mispronounced your name. I apologize with all due respect. Man, listen, you look like something like a hater right now, bro, and you smell like one, you sound like one from where I sit. Bro, what are you talking about?
Lopez said, Canelo and Crawford was for the undisputed, but Crawford didn't pay for the WBC. So by default, on paper, he's not undisputed. I paid for my sanctioning belt. If they could do it to me, they can do it to him. His message? If you want the belt, you play by the rules, even if those rules are ugly. To Lopez, Crawford wasn't a hero. He was a rebel, breaking structure that every fighter before him had respected.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Even if they hated it. But fans didn't buy that argument. The comments under Lopez's post were flooded with backlash. The rules are broken. You're defending corruption. This isn't about respect. It's about money. And that's exactly where Rogan's anger hit hardest, because it exposed a double standard that boxing has been hiding for years. While Rogan and Lopez traded philosophical blows from the sidelines, another legend decided to jump in.
What the hell is going on? I gotta pull over for this one. What the hell is going on? We talking about anybody that bring up Terrence Crawford name, you already know I'm listening, right? Yeah.
You already know we listening, bruh.
Yeah. Somebody said that. Can Terrence Crawford beat everybody on Floyd Mayweather's resume?
Timothy Desert Storm Bradley. Bradley's video rant went viral not for politics, but for passion. He didn't want to talk about fees or rules. He wanted to talk about greatness.
Greatness.
Bradley said, anybody saying Crawford couldn't beat Floyd's guys, you trippin'. Crawford would have smashed everybody on Floyd's resume.
These nuts. Got him!
Harder puncher, more versatile, killer instinct on 10. And then he took it further, calling out Floyd Mayweather himself. Floyd, you say you're the best ever? Get in there with Crawford and prove it.
Get in the ring, man! Get in the ring!
Let's see what happens.
Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Terrence Crawford smashed everybody that Floyd ever fought. Yep, Manfredi, done. Fried. Crawford would have beat him, dominated him, knocked him the hell out. Crawford hit harder than Floyd. Crawford hits harder than Floyd. You understand that? killer instinct is on 10. Oh, man, come on, man. Crawford can do everything Floyd can do, and he can do it from both sides.
That clip had fans going wild. Bradley wasn't just defending Crawford. He was redefining his legacy in real time. He made it clear that strip title or not, Crawford's place in history is already cemented.
Cemented. You can't take that. You know, you can't erase history. You can't erase what the man's accomplishments are. You cannot strip him of his accolades and achievements. The man is cemented in history as the GOAT.
Then came one of the calmest, most respected voices in boxing.
And just to circle back a little bit, that clinic that he performed on Canelo Cinnamon Alvarez was, man, that was a thing of beauty. Artistic.
Jimmy Lennon Jr. Unlike others, Lennon didn't pick sides, but what he said spoke volumes.
I think, like Mauricio, I'm going to take a high road, but I will say it's unfortunate for the sport of boxing. I think talking about money too much, and it is not the high road. And so we've seen some kind of ugly and not so pretty things, exchanges happen here. And so it's unfortunate, but it is a reality.
It's unfortunate for the sport. We're seeing.
It is unfortunate for the sport. You guys go over there, check out Knockout Updates for more content. You know, I really don't understand how we've allowed something like this to happen. I don't understand how a champion can go out there and perform at the highest level of their craft, of their sport, and have just some outside sanctioning body continue to charge them an astronomical percentage of their winnings. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I don't understand all aspects of politics, so forgive me, but that just seems absurd. And it definitely is affecting the sport. You know, it's affecting all sports. Like he said, money. It's the money, the money, the money. You know, I mean, everybody needs to get paid. Everybody needs to, you know, be able to earn what they deserve. But as far as, you know, these outside entities, these mob figures, so to speak, you know, being able to just sit over and tax the best of the best, and it's somehow, you know, they justify that with the fact that you get to the privilege of wearing their belt. Come on, man, keep the belt, like they said, man. Shout out to the young lives for standing up for themselves. Shout out to you know, all the people involved with this content. You know, I know there's different perspectives on everything. I'm supporting Terrence Crawford. Shout out to Terrence Crawford, man, for being a class act, a great leader, you know, the undeniable, undisputed juggernaut of the sport. You know, I know there's some people like Lopez that want to use a technicality in order to try to replace or erase the history, but you can't do that, bruh. You got to get in that ring and go see that man. That's the only way to get there. Okay? Shout out to Joe Rogan, man. We appreciate you for standing up for Terrence Bud Crawford and using your voice and your platform, man, and your prestige, man, all the accolades that you've earned yourself to support him and the sport and his achievements and all of the things that he's accomplished, man. Until next time, my name is Pax, and I'm speaking facts, and I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a blessed one.